After a gruesome 89 game solo queuing as Maggie in this awful rank system, we did it again! I soloed to Master for Season 14. There's been plenty of lessons along the road that I've shared with you, but this might be one of the best games showcasing why I've been running Maggie and how you can dominate ranked even as a solo player, whether you choose to run Mad Maggie on your own or somebody else. This final video of this series will give you the perfect tips to set you on your own way for your own grind. Let's dive into it. Alright, so we finally did it. The solo queue to master grind is complete and just before the split ends. And this was a pretty good grind, and I figured out a very good strat to do this by playing Maggie, playing a certain amount of aggressive, and I think that this specific game is a perfect example of the strategy I used all the way from Platinum to Diamond, and yeah, I'm gonna share that now in this solo to master video. So we dropped Cage. I figured we'd skip all the looting and go straight into the action. This was me going a little bit too deep in here because my teammates were a little bit farther behind, but they're, you know, right on my back here, so we can actually clean this up really fast. The thing is, when you take a fight this early, you're gonna get third party. It doesn't matter. So, you know, these guys, they dropped on Hydro, ended up fighting in the tunnel. It was very risky. It didn't work out for them, and we got to loot and heal and get some kills. And what I noticed with this grind is, like, even if you take such a clean fight, like, we clean this up super fast, you still will end up getting third partied, which will happen in a little bit. Spoilers, by the way. And we're just gonna see how that goes. So there's someone showing presence here. I end up, you know, hitting the riot drill here. But as I was saying at the start here, I feel like Maggie is still super slept on. I think there's a lot of hype on Horizon still. Very good arc store, by the way. But there's a lot of hype on Horizon still because a lot of streamers are running her, but she's really only efficient if you play her right. And if you do like a full nade stack combo from all of your team. If you're playing a solo queue legend, someone like Maggie is really good because her passive allows you to play aggressive or passive or whatever you want to do reactively with a shotgun. And Riot Drill allows you to, you know, put a lot of space down, and her ultimate allows you to, you know, rotate if you have to rotate edge or push into someone, and it destroys Gibraltar's bubbles, even though we haven't seen too many of them. I do actually think there is a moment in this VOD where Gibraltar has a bubble, so we get to show that as well. But this is a very smart what my teammate did. So he knows we're just W King, they're feeling good. So we're Valk ulting to chase the Wraith, there's nothing they can do. And we just land straight on her to kill her. Now this is a little bit awkward because she portals and uses her tactical. But we ended up getting her, and we get the hot swap from there, or rather purple armor, some extra loot. And we're actually, funnily enough, we're back where we started here on Cage. So I don't know how everyone else has been doing in the solo to Predator, or rather in their solo grind or ranked grind in general. I think I've mentioned it before, you want to counter the different lobbies that you're in. If a lot of people are playing edge and they're passive or looking for third parties on the edge, you want to rotate early. If everyone's rotating early, it might be worth it to play edge. This strikes true in ranked, this strikes true in competitive, in tournaments. You always want to be the contrarian. It is the most successful way if you stand out in these types of, in any type of lobby, really. That's how you can consistently gain the most RP. So now we're just sitting on Cage and chilling, just, you know, vibing, trying to like see where the zone closes. My teammates didn't scan for some reason at this point, and now we're providing a little bit of pressure. So at this point, so all of these gunshots, there's a lot of teams rotating in the mid game now, and we're seeing more and more teams pop up, and you know, we're shooting, so they are bound to show up where we are. What I notice in these lobbies is a lot of teams like to be right on the edge of zone, either because they're slow at rotating and get held out, or they just are very smart, or they just want to get into big fights. I'm not entirely sure, I'm gonna be honest with you. Either way, there's one team here, there's one team in the bunker, and there's one team on the choke on our on the side here that they're shooting at right now. And I think I called at this point, or earlier in the VOD, I called for Valkyrie that we need to ult out of here because we're getting swarmed by teams from every single angle. There's no way we're gonna get out of this alive. We're just really asking to get demolished at this point. So instead of Valk ulting off of the high ground, which makes a lot of sense because we'd get shot at by 3 times at the same time, we instead decide to run away a little bit, get into low ground where nobody can shoot us, and then popping Valk's ultimate. There's 10 seconds left on the timer, so we could not wait any longer. And not only was this 3 teams, it seems this was 4 teams converging on Cage. Now there's 5 teams converging on Cage and just gatekeeping. So I ping this and call it. We have to go here instead. This is a perfect. I mean, I think that we kind of probably going there anyways. We both saw the opening here. I ultimate, again, using Maggie for faster rotation. You don't have to use it to run into a team or run away from a team. It comes back so fast. It's already 10%. I don't even think it's... Yeah, the ball hadn't even blown up and it's on 15% already. So it's a very good rotational tool in general, just a little bit loud. But this allowed us to get behind all of the teams who are playing on cage and saved us a lot of headache. So I think these guys are pre-made a little bit, and we're just kind of playing the lobby we're getting here. Like, normally I'd probably recommend you want to rotate in, maybe get the scan and play the zone. But yeah, we're just feeling the groove here. And I personally, you know, I want to get content, right? So I don't want to just get a little bit of points in camp if I can avoid it. I'd rather make something fun happen. So we're fighting this team here. And what we know is our back is against the zone. So unless someone rotates the lane on zone, we shouldn't get third-partied. They might come from swamps, unlikely. They might come from like labs up here, very unlikely. But we know, because we flew over them, there's several teams on this side of the map that still haven't fought. There's still 10 squads. And yeah, you even see them here in the background, I can see now. So the team on the high ground here, if they prolong this fight, they're probably gonna get third-partied, so they have no incentive to keep fighting. That being said, I want to say that they're actually gonna end up taking some peaks here. Otherwise, yeah, look at that. They get a little bit greedy with it. Really playing with fire because they don't gain anything fighting here. Honestly, we don't really either, and we don't really have like as many supplies as we would like. But they're the ones making a massive mistake here, and I think just applying pressure kind of screws them over. There's a third party immediately coming. We get the 1 kill for it. We're gonna get loot for it eventually. It's just cleanup city right here. Not every team ends up taking the same head glitch, but we have a good spot here. We don't have to move. We don't have pressure from the sides. And even though one team third-partied here, there can still be even more people coming from behind them because, again, there were 5 teams there, and you don't want to spend too much time focusing on them or hyper-focusing on them. So my teammate gets down here. I'm just going in for the big place, the big clutch. Good shot with the PK, good follow-up. Probably not the smartest to drop down, but I was feeling it. The guy's called Pathfinder 2683, probably to mess with people. Someone else had the exact same name. All of them is called Pathfinder. You love to see it. Really mess with a small little trick there. I have no idea what team that Wraith was on, but I'm switching back to the red armor here because I want to heal up the red armor. I probably could have dropped the purple on the ground instead of putting it right back in the box, but it's fine. I'm just applying a riot drill here, so this guy couldn't shoot me. Now I think I messed up the riot drill, but I wanted to just riot drill him off so I could finish my kill instead. Either way, I'm just gonna focus that because I know that if he gets behind the corner, that means he gets the revive, which we don't want. I don't hit the stick. I was hoping I would hit it. That's fine. So he calls for the rest here, and I agree. We have to get the rest. We just have to make sure that nobody else obviously here. I feel like everyone must have left at this point because if they were all the way to the west from cage, they would have come by now. And I don't see anyone. Nobody's shooting presence. Nobody's shooting me. So I take a little bit of a gamble and go for the revive here, assuming that nobody is left, especially because the zone is closing. They probably learned their lesson and moved in a little bit more. Now, I'm still looking towards the edge of zone because there's a big chance someone might be straggling, or they're just trying to play as hard zone as they can to avoid getting held out or, you know, getting into a fight they don't want to be in. My teammate doesn't really have too much. Did I see someone in the VOD there? Maybe I did. But my teammate doesn't really have much loot, obviously, but we want to make sure that he gets it. The problem is... Yeah, I did see someone. That was the Loba. The problem is that the zone is closing, so he can't actually grab any loot. Now he ends up doing a heat shield and grabbing something of the boxes up here, but all in all, we're gonna have to run a little bit. Thankfully, there's no other team here. We killed everyone surrounding us, and I think the ones we didn't kill rotated ahead. But that was a little bit risky from his side, absolutely. And overall, because of the way we played, we wasted a lot of supplies. Like, we're basically non-stop fighting. We haven't been able to loot, really. We keep getting caught in bad positions and just having to, like, heal up and shoot and poke and whatnot. We don't have a lot of supplies. I don't have too many supplies, not many heals. Don't really have that much ammo, don't have many nades. Rave definitely doesn't have a lot. You can't see how much he has, but you trust me on this, he doesn't have a lot. And these teams are fighting in front of us. This guy's stuck in a rock and he's getting shot at from like 2 angles at once. So you cute it, get a nice knock. And then he's just holding this, nade him out. I thought it would stay there, but I guess he just wanted to move, and it's pretty solid finish there. And there's one team on the right side denying that loot. We want loot because we're not set for the mid to late game. I probably didn't have to shoot here. We could probably shoot to 3-1 it or something. We are locked out of zone now. We have 1 minute and 15 to go. But we are locked out of zone, so it's not the most fun situation to be in. I think my teammate called me over to this side. I go with him because we want to check. Because we're getting held out on the edge here. I had to get the knock here. This will be monumental. But I think I messed up the drive. Actually, I messed up the right drill. I can talk. I messed up my aim. But this team is holding, and like just this whole area is just a big downhill slope. We can't really run there without getting beamed by the whole team gatekeeping us. But we have a Valkyrie, don't we? And since we're low on supplies, I know there were 2 kills where we once were. I know there's 30 seconds on a timer, but it's going to be worth it. Trust, I say, okay, we're gonna go back here, come here. And we're gonna get the 2 loot boxes. I want to take loot. There's a Loba here, but we just need to take loot. And then we can Valkyrie. I don't have anything. These guys were struggling as well, but still pretty good. And we're actually just walking up here, but we're gonna have to probably make a Valkyrie to get out of this alive, because that team is gonna want to sit on us for a long time and then safely fall in on this little choke here. So I fat fingered that ultimate. That wasn't a Giga Brain ultimate or anything, though it probably distracted them a little bit. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. He's playing this. So this is my favorite game. Where are we going? There are 8 squads alive, and I'm pinging that because look at the zone. I don't know exactly where zone is, admittedly, or where it pulls, but I have a hunch that everyone here will be either around this area. There's gonna be a team in this house. There's a team down here. There's a team here, but nobody is gonna be all the way out here. There might be one rat or something, right? So it's a bit of a gamble. Especially, but the Valkyrie didn't pick up anything with her passive, and we should just look towards going here, because overall it's a good spot. If you haven't noticed this throughout this entire grind, every time I take a position, especially for late game, I make sure that our back is completely safe. I make sure that there's 0 chance that any team does something where we're gonna get shot in the back. And by our backs being clear, by the virtue of our backs being clear, that means we can always look this way, and nobody will be able to push us ever, because we're always looking straight at them. Again, I don't know, I felt maybe it would like end on this little left or something. And I was going wide on the right to really make sure we didn't spot anyone. And this ends up being a god tier rotation. It puts us right where we want to be. Not like, no matter how the zone closes, we can make something happen with this. We can also climb up on a little pipe here somehow, or on the wall, or even Valkyrie again, because there's no LOS. Now, these guys have line of sight on us right now. And so peek us from up here, so don't get too much attention. And I even called it, yeah, I'm even telling them, I'm warning my teammates, don't go there, don't fight, don't peek it. And we're gonna take a little bit initial pressure here before so closes, before teams rotate in. This team has a lot of space to work with at the moment, so they can bully us, but we just have to stay alive for 30 seconds to a minute before things get a little bit tighter, and then they have to mind what they're doing. And this zone ends up actually closing perfectly for us. This could not work out any better whatsoever. Okay, we stay alive for 1 minute. Might be GG. So yeah, now we're just sitting here, he's waiting. Rave actually does a good choice here. She goes for a little bit of an off angle, which is very good. If someone does end up pushing, she'll have a crossfire, and she denies anyone from taking those bins and applying pressure from us in the side. Because even though I said nobody will be able to get there, they might still Valkyrie in or do some other weird play that ends up with us taking pressure from the side. We saw a team heat shield here for some reason, so we know they're gonna go in. Octane jump padded, I think, at this point. But I don't want them to stay up there. I'm thinking, okay, if they stay up there on that pipe that's also in zone, they're gonna apply a lot of pressure on us. We need to constantly make sure, identify like, what is our win condition? What do we need to do to stay alive? What's the catalyst? What's the one thing that will get us killed? Someone being on this pipe will, you know, make us lose a lot of space. It will make us lose a lot of momentum. They can shoot us, they can nade us, and then maybe we'll get shot from the other side as well and we'll die. So this is a big red flag here, a big warning sign. All the alarm bells going off. We cannot let them be there, so I just put a lot of focus on it. The being in that house is fine, he can't do anything. But have an Octane so he can jump pad over, and we want to deny it as well so we don't get backstabbed. There's also 4 squads alive, all of them are full, so there's only full squads alive. And I'm dropping like a little bit of heals for my teammates, because we still don't really have that many supplies. We have been struggling the whole game, and we're still struggling. But, you know, if this game is as good of an example as any, that, you know, no matter your supplies, I think the thing that matters the most is having good positioning and good game sense, good awareness, good game plan. And look where the zone is going to pull. It's going to pull right outside that house. This is going to be huge for us. Not even knowing where all the teams are right now. All we know is that one team is in the big house. We know that one team is behind us, playing the outskirts here with the Octane and the pipe. But that's everything. And the zone is pretty open. Now, Wraith did not get knocked here, which is huge. I nade off to kind of like zone a little bit. I have 0 vision here. I'm just going to pre-aim. If they end up running up to push her, I'll nade again. If they push her, you know, I can actually shoot them, which it would be huge. Because again, that is a side angle that will get us in a really bad position. I spot the Octane's jump pad, and I know that, okay, they're gonna want to I don't think they can cross the gap with that jump pad, but it can get up on this big wall here, and that means they have high ground advantage on us. They can shoot right down on us. So if we destroy this jump pad, and that's worth the ammo, that's worth like overcommitting here. If by destroying the jump pad, they can no longer do that, and now they're forced to walk into zone, and that just magically unlocks all of this space for us. They might run this way, but they can't actually make a proper rotation, and they're held out by this team as well. And that's exactly what happens. Wraith starts portaling into us. Not my proudest moment here with the shots and the nades. I really didn't want to choke it. I also knew that we were going to get Master if we won this game, so I wanted it to be a heater. Pretty solid nade. It forced her out of cover, but I couldn't commit. Lifeline pushing in. Very important not to get knocked here if you can avoid it, because if you get knocked, there's a big chance a third party comes in. You want to keep this as clean as possible. And we ended up doing just that. Now there's only 3 squads alive. There's 1 squad inside and 1 squad on top, which means that these guys are gonna be in hell of a struggle in about a minute. But we're chilling on this side. Wraith is really wide off the side there with a Q, and we're playing the big, silos right here.
One team on top, one team inside.
Also, by the way, if you're enjoying this VOD review, this content, and this series overall, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. And yeah, thank you. Just gonna put the one in there. I know some of you guys don't like that, but... And I had no idea you could walk in between these silos. Now I know, and now you know. So how do you even win this? The problem is that I think we have the least cover, in a way, out of everyone here. The team in the building, they're sort of like guaranteed third place or second place. And the team on top and us are kind of forced to feud. So now it comes down to playing the zone properly and spacing, hitting our shots, and most importantly, not dying. That's all that matters. So we still have this angle here. I can peek very wide, and as you can see, like when I peek, I'm visible to this window, I'm visible to that window, I'm visible to this entire team in high ground that also have a head glitch. They have a way better angle at this than I do. Now this thermite was probably a little bit wasted, but you know, they're getting less and less space as the zone's closing behind them. So they're being forced forward. If you pre-aim it when they're forced forward, you can do a lot of damage. I only have cells at this point. I throw the wrecking ball because I want to hit someone. If that team got the idea, we got a knock, so maybe they get the idea they want to run out. I'm thinking, all right, I'll throw the wrecking ball. This might stop them for a little bit, for like a second, maybe even knock them back or something like that. So I figured I would do that. It just seemed to space them a little bit. It didn't actually stop anyone, but it would have been huge if they did go out the door. I have to be very careful about taking every single poke, because one wingman shot and I'm dead, basically. All I'm doing is just applying pressure and applying a crossfire here without, you know, getting knocked myself. Now this is very greedy for a second there. I end up going back. I don't want to talk about this shot. And then it just, they have no cover up there. It's just complete chaos. I could have got a knocked here because the Pathfinder had full vision of all 3 of us, but he didn't really know what to do. He chill comes in with punch, and then we win. And just like that, we close out the series with me getting Master with plus 570 RP. And again, I really enjoyed making the series. Maybe we'll do another for next season, or I'll just play with my team because ALGS is right around the corner. Either way, that was how I sold it to Master as a Maggie, or well, mainly Maggie. Maybe next time we do it, I'll actually just play Maggie. I enjoy her a lot. I think she's super strong, but that's my opinion anyways. If you guys are interested in seeing more of this content, maybe the other videos, the previous videos in the series, check out the video on the screen. It should be probably right here. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.